Hey everyone, so it's been several months since I've uploaded to my channel, and I just wanted to explain why. And basically, it's a personal family issue. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, has had Parkinson's disease for 20 years. But this past year it's gotten really bad. So I had to move him from California back to New Jersey toward the end of this past summer. And try and get him approved for Medicaid. And essentially I've become his advocate, trying to help him navigate this incredibly complex and overly cruel, in my opinion, healthcare system that we have in this country. So there's that. Now, this video is kind of a departure for me, and I'm not really, I feel, all that good at making this style of video. But I really believe that the information that I'm trying to communicate to you guys is in fact very helpful. I feel very strongly about that. So in the spirit of trying to be helpful, hopefully you will forgive its many flaws and accept it for what it is. All right, here it is. Okay, so the first thing I'd like you to do is go down to the description and click on a link to a video on which George Spanky McCurdy plays. Sorry, George Spanky McCurdy. The only appropriate name for him in my book is Sir, because he's great. So check that video out, because I'm going to play the same tune. So bear with me. Back in high school, I mentioned to an adult type person that I was considering a career as a drummer. This person said to me, okay, but be the best. I couldn't just be good enough to have a satisfying career. I couldn't just be good enough to maybe gain some notoriety and respect among my peers. No, I had to be the best. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this kind of thinking is just so pervasive in our culture, and I think it's really unhealthy. So, back in high school, Buddy Rich was the best, and all the drummers on the planet were in awe of his technical prowess. But at the same time, there was Davey Tuff, a great big band drummer who you've never heard of. At the same time, there was Gene Krupa, who you have heard of because he became very famous. He didn't have the chops that Buddy had, but he had great musicality. So now, let's talk about Ringo Starr, who was in the most popular band for sure back in the mid-60s and beyond, and may be the most popular band ever. Now, Ringo is not noted for his chops, but I would ask you to go back and check out some footage of The Ed Sullivan Show or any other footage you can get of the early Beatles, and you will see a drummer who's having a ball. Ringo, I'm sure, knew he wasn't the best, but, and this is going to sound really corny, he was the best Ringo. I submit to you, Ringo got the gig because he brought himself. Let's go back to this idea of being the best, right? It depends on what yardstick you're going to use to determine what the best is. And who are you anyway? It's not up to you to decide who the best is. We drummers are supposed to be making music feel good. All this nonsense about being the best, well, Spanky is Spanky. Billy Cobham is Billy Cobham. Chris Coleman is Chris Coleman. Aaron Spears, on and on and on. What all of these drummers have in common, whether you like them or not, they had the courage and the tenacity to bring themselves to the table. Do you want to enjoy your drumming and enjoy your career wherever you're at?
Or do you want to sabotage yourself and make yourself miserable because you're not somewhere else?
So if you learn to honor where you are and see that there's value in where you are as a drummer and really as a person, it's a much more enjoyable ride. Now, since I've been talking the talk, it's time to walk the walk. Alright, so let's get back to the reason I made this video in the first place. I'm not going to lie, I mean, it took a certain amount of courage for me to, present myself performing the same tune as a great drummer like Spanky. But that's kind of the point here. I don't feel threatened or intimidated by Spanky. I feel inspired. I think he's a great drummer. He has a lot to offer, and I actually feel grateful. I have to do the best that I can do, and I can't really do that if I'm going to start comparing myself to other drummers. I think that that's wasted energy and it's negative. Playing your best does take a certain amount of mental discipline. The driving force behind everything I'm talking about here is your love of the drums. So you should let that be your fuel. If you can stay in touch with that, then I think you're going to have a much easier time learning how to always bring your best. Because as a professional drummer, that's expected of you, to always bring your best. I mean, nobody cares about your problems. Nobody cares what's going on inside your head. You and your fellow musicians are there to do a job. You have to do your best. So for me, it begins with positive self-talk. So let me give you an example. We've all had bad nights, and some of you more experienced drummers who have been gigging a while know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody has bad nights. And by a bad night, to me that would mean I'm having a hard time executing something that I can normally do with no problem, right? That's a bad night. So what I used to do was allow myself to start getting all worried, and then I let fear take over, and now I'm afraid to do anything. If I couldn't do that thing that I know I can normally do, I can't do anything, and it's just this downward spiral. Positive self-talk is how I get out of that. The minute I start to feel that happening, or if I go for something and for whatever reason it's just not working, I immediately start saying to myself, come on, Gary, you've got this. You've done that 1,000,000 times. You can do it. Do it again right now. I mean, obviously the music is going to be dictating what I'm playing, but if at all possible, when I get an opportunity to now do that something, whatever it may be, that just defeated me, I got to come right back at it. Get back on the horse is kind of the analogy. That's how I'm able to lift myself up and get the job done to the best of my ability. Here's the thing. I have no control over what you guys think of my performance, so why should I worry about it? The simpler I can make this, the better. The more thoughts I can keep out of my head while I'm trying to create and get in that zone, the better. So really, it all goes back to staying in touch with your love of the drums. The music business is a very tough business. Everybody knows that. If you love the drums, you're going to put up with all that shit. It's really the only way. So, let the love of the drums be the fuel that drives you, and enjoy where you are at the same time striving to get better. That's it in a nutshell. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. Hope you got something out of this. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.